I just saw Appleseed Alpha. For those who don't know, Appleseed is a series created by manga legend and personal hero of mine, Masamune Shirow. It centers around the exploits of SWAT officers Deunan and Briareos Hekaton Kiras? I can never say this. Briareos Hekaton Kiras. It centers around the exploits of SWAT officers Deunan and Briareos as they police the ever-in-danger utopia of Olympus. This Olympus, not that Olympus. There actually have been a couple of adaptations of the manga before. The first was an OVA produced in 1988. Then there was a CGI version in 2004, followed by its sequel in 2007. There was also a 13-episode TV series released in 2011. Now, with all these different versions of Appleseed floating around, the people in charge of the franchise took a cue from Hollywood and said, it is time for a gritty reboot. Which brings us to 2014's Appleseed Alpha. Appleseed Alpha takes place directly after World War III. Ex-soldiers Deunan and Briareos live in the wasteland of New York City while working for the mercenary Two Horns. The plot picks up when our dynamic duo agree to do one last mission for Two Horns in order to get much-needed repairs for the broken-down Briareos. On the mission, Deunan and Bri run into Olson and Iris, who looks like Angelina Jolie in Hackers. But anyway, Olson and Iris are being pursued by the villainous Talos, who is determined to stop Iris from completing her mission. If I had to describe Appleseed Alpha with one word, it's simple. The action scenes are simple, the environments are simple, the story is simple. Gone are the anime designs of Appleseed 2004 and the John Woo heroic bloodshed gunplay of Ex Machina. This is the stripped-down Batman Begins version of the franchise. Actually, with its post-apocalyptic setting and the Save the Girl plot, it's best described as a combination of Mad Max and Commando, which is cool, and it makes sense because on the DVD commentary, director Shinji Aramaki said they set out to create a Hollywood action film. So much so that they wrote the script in English, filmed the motion capture with American actors, and they animated the lip sync to the English voice track. So the movie really does capture the feel of an 80s action film. The best part of the movie for me, which is also the best part of the manga, is Deunan and Briareos. Deunan and Bri they're the buddy cop duo of anime. They're the quintessential action heroes. I always have a great time watching these two side by side just blowing the shit out of things. Look at that. That's just cool, right? Well, I thought it was cool. But with that said, the dynamic in their relationship really is the standout. Actors David Matranga and Lucy Christian have great chemistry, and they do a good job of capturing the essence of the characters. Lucy Christian's Deunan is tough and vulnerable. She's great at communicating subtle emotions in her line delivery. I really like David Matranga's take on Briareos. He comes across as very reserved without being a one-note tough guy. He has an almost Clint Eastwood-esque air about him. Briareos also has never looked better. I would go as far as to say he looks better in this film than in any of the manga. Shocking, I know. He really comes off as a towering hulk of a cyborg that you would not want to mess with. I do miss anime Deunan though. She doesn't look right with realistic features, but that's a problem I have anytime they try to portray anime characters realistically. Like, what the hell is that? I also liked the visual references to the manga thrown into the film. Like the nod to the first issue cover. I liked the tank battle. That was cool watching that play out in CGI. The shots of the blown out New York really captured the panels from the book. The score is also worth mentioning. There's a song by Skrillex at the beginning, but Tetsuya Takahashi's music is the real standout. It's probably the best in the series, and it actually kind of feels like Daft Punk's score to Tron, but the only problem is that the music cues are few and far between. The movie does have its share of problems, the first being its lack of style. Taking the series out of the cyberpunk cityscape and setting it in a post-apocalyptic wasteland is an interesting idea, but the problem is that there are a lot of post-apocalyptic films and TV shows now. I mean, just throw a rock and you'll find one. So, ironically, by trying to shake up Appleseed and put a new spin on it, they ended up making it more generic. It ends up looking like everything else. Also, with the bells and whistles of the previous films stripped away, it becomes very clear that Shinji Aramaki is a mediocre director. His shot compositions are very pedestrian, and his action scenes always feel flat. It's not that they're bad, they just don't pop. There's nothing memorable about them. As far as characters go, with the exception of Deunan and Briareos, all the other characters feel underdeveloped. The relationship between Olson and Iris is never explored. We know that they care about each other, but we don't know why or how deep that affection goes. The movie even tries to have Deunan bond with Iris, but it never feels natural. It just feels like Deunan cares about Iris because the script says so. It's also worth mentioning John Schultz as the voice of Talos. On the page, Talos is a generic villain with not much to do, but John Schultz really imbues Talos with so much menace that he becomes the best villain of the film series. Probably my biggest gripe with the movie is the mech designs. The movie is filled with these generic looking video game mechs. Masamune Shirow is one of the greatest mech designers ever. There is no excuse to have generic looking mechs in a film based on his work. Just take designs from the manga and bring them to the film. That's why Two Horns looks so great, because he's just an updated version of Sotaku from the comic. And Deunan's landmate looks like Deunan's landmate. But Talos and the other cyborgs just kind of look like rejects from Crisis. Even with its problems, I really did like this movie, and I thought it was a step in the right direction for the Appleseed film series. But I'm aware that the reason why I like the film so much is because I'm a fan of Appleseeds and I'm a fan of Masamune Shirow's. If you're a fan of Appleseed, you will like this movie. If you've been thinking about getting into Appleseed, this is a good place to start. But if you're not really into Appleseed, if you're not into mech anime, you might not like this. I think it's definitely worth checking out if you could stream it or if you catch it on cable. But if this isn't your sort of thing, then it's not worth breaking your balls to run out and get right away. With that said, I think that's all I got left to say. So until next time.